Hello viewers, welcome to a brand new episode of the Career Trail right here on your favorite channels, Joy Learning TV, and of course the Joy News channel. My name is Yvonne Nelson. My outfit is sponsored by Majoy Trish. Now if you see me on your screen, you know it's definitely time for what? Career Trail. We are here to delve into stories of successful entrepreneurs. And so today I have an entrepreneur on the show. If you are ready, I was definitely born ready to do this. Let's take a look at the profile video of my guest.
This week on the Career Trail, who is our guest? She hails from Accra, Ghana, with roots tracing back to Cape Coast. She's a celebrated Ghanaian actress, model, film producer, author, entrepreneur, and former Miss Ghana contestant. She has starred in hit movies such as House of Gold, Any Other Monday, In April, and Swings. She gained prominence with her roles in Princess Tyra and Playboy. She's the founder of the Yvonne Nelson Glaucoma Foundation, dedicated to raising awareness about glaucoma. She holds a master's degree in international relations and diplomacy from GIMPA, awarded in 2020. She recently launched the Yvonne Nelson International School in 2024. She authored the controversial memoir, I Am Not Yvonne Nelson, which topped Amazon's charts in 2023. She is vocal about social issues, leading campaigns like Doomsday Must Stop, calling attention to Ghana's energy crisis. She has received numerous accolades, including the Best Actress Award at the Ghana Movie Awards, Best Picture for House of Gold at the City People Entertainment Awards, and recognition by Go Woman magazine and Printex for her philanthropic efforts and career achievements. Our guest for this week's edition of Career Trail is Yvonne Nelson.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have it right there. Yvonne Nelson is on the Career Trail. Welcome, good to see you. You know, when Yvonne Nelson comes to mind, acting comes to mind. And when acting comes to mind, there is one song that comes to mind. Sweetie, sweetie, I mean, why do you hate
I forgot to, but I think I know the movie, Passion and Soul.
Yeah. Why do you hate Jackie so much? We sent you there to go and act, and you want to kill someone to become a ghost.
Oh my God, I know. I don't hate Jackie.
In the movie.
I love Jackie, but I'm always playing the bad lady, the bad girl, you know, the arrogant princess.
They should give you innocent roles.
I think one day when I meet Abdul Salam Mumuni, I would ask him and Frank Raja, I would ask them why they were always casting me in such roles.
Yeah, because we don't understand. We sent you to go and act. Now you are killing someone. And the person has to become a ghost to haunt you. And she still haunts you?
No more. Just in the movies.
Okay. So before we even go into your acting career, when we talk about Yvonne Nelson, tell me who you are, so that probably if I get a chance to go back to school and I'm being asked to talk about my favorite actress, I can write 1 or 2 lines about you. Yeah.
Okay. Yvonne Nelson. You see, for a long time, I felt like people had or have this perception in their minds, you know. So even when somebody sees you and they want to approach you, they're a little hesitant to do that, because they watch your movies and they see this arrogant bad girl. But Yvonne is a laid-back person. I don't socialize much, you know. I stay in my corner, very quiet. I'm a very passionate human being. I'm a perfectionist, and I believe that anyone who's read my book would know quite a lot more. So if you haven't read it, go and read it.
Okay, then I'm going to read it after the show. Okay, so where did you grow up from at, and then how was the upbringing like growing up?
I grew up in Accra, Dansoman. I was born in Kolebu, the hospital.
Oh, okay.
And life back in Dansoman, you know, just like every average Ghanaian, I was lucky to go to a good school. I lived with a single mother with 2 siblings of mine, the last born. And I believe my mom did an amazing job, you know, raising me. As you can see.
Yeah, you're doing so well.
So yeah, just like an average Ghanaian, we had everything that Ghanaians have in their homes.
Okay.
My neighborhood was quite a serene one. I lived around Sahara down in Dansoman. And from Martini Porres, I went to Agri Memorial in Cape Coast. From there, I did my degree at Central University. And then, after acting and all the craziness in the industry, I went back to school after having my daughter. So I have a master's in international relations and diplomacy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's very beautiful.
Yes.
Okay. So, you know, growing up, we all have this ambition or maybe dream. I want to be like Yvonne Nelson. I want to act like Yvonne Nelson. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a soldier. Did you have such ambition growing up? Did you look up to anyone growing up?
Oh yeah, I had very crazy ambitions. At a point, I wanted to be a rapper. Because when I was in school, I used to rap.
Wow.
Yeah, the other day I heard Trigmatic say this on radio. Yeah, we're in a group, kind of like the Fugees. So I was the Lauryn Hill of the group.
Wow.
Yeah, I loved Lauryn Hill. So, you know, after the whole rap craze, after that I wanted to be a flight attendant. Then it changed. My mom wanted me to be a lawyer because I talk a lot. I would just be talking at home, and I used to write a lot as well.
Oh, okay.
So it keeps changing. But I never thought I would, you know, enter into education and own a school. I never thought about that. But yes, a rapper, flight attendant, and maybe a lawyer.
A lawyer.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So we would ask you what changed?
What changed? A lot of things changed. You know, life will happen, destiny happens. I found myself in the entertainment industry because it was meant to happen. I didn't even go for an audition. Abdul Salam just saw me. I've told the story so many times. He saw me at Afrikiko. He came, spoke to me, took my number, and invited me to come on set. That's how the whole acting thing started. After that, having my daughter, I felt like I could enter into the education sector and start a business in that. I feel like I'm a very passionate person, like I said, and anything that I put my mind to, I do it, and I make sure that I do it really well. I love kids. Growing up, I saw a lot of hiccups in our education system. I saw a lot of loopholes. There was a huge vacuum missing in, you know, the education sector. I remember there are days where I would go to school in Agri Memorial, and I would be scared that my accounting teacher was going to beat everybody in the class. So then it puts some fear in you. How are you going to learn when you know your teacher is going to beat you if you make mistakes or you perform poorly or all of that? So coming into this industry or sector, I just want to change things and make sure that kids are at ease when they're learning. You don't have to be afraid of your teacher. You don't have to be afraid of school, you know, when you're going to school. You should be so excited that, oh my God, I'm going to school. And today we're going to do the balance sheet or the trial balance, or we're going to do math in school, and I'm so excited about it, you know. So doing this, really, I just want to change things. I want to give kids a higher platform. I want them to achieve higher goals in their education.
Okay. Okay, so we'll talk about that more, but before that, let's take you back to your school. You went to Agri Memorial School.
Yes.
Was it a first choice?
Agri Memorial, my stepdad, he was the PTA chair also. So it was like, oh, when you're done with JSS, you're definitely going to Agri Memorial. So yeah, that's what happened to me. I didn't have any choice, you know. I just knew that I would go there anyways.
Oh, okay.
And it was bad. It was bad. I don't have great memories in Agri Memorial.
Why? What happened? What are some of the experiences you faced and all that, making it bad? But in your mind, which school did you want to attend at the time?
Honestly, I don't know, but I felt like there are other schools that I would have loved to go to. But yeah, Agri was challenging for me. It was a place that I would, I don't want to use these words, but Agri was, yeah, it wasn't the best of places for me.
Okay.
For me, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, if you talk about it not being the best of places, was it maybe you changing the environment, maybe some experiences with teachers, or maybe prefects and all that? Tell us a little about some of the bad experiences you encountered.
There were great experiences and bad as well. Right. A lot of it is in my book.
Okay.
But I'll just chip in a little.
Okay.
I gave you examples about being scared going to the class. There are days you're afraid, to go to the class because one teacher is going to beat everybody in the class, So that was not helping. And I'll just say two things. The second thing was hygiene and maybe the quality of food. I don't know what's happening now in senior secondary schools, but I feel like we need to talk about these things. If we don't talk about it, it will continue being the same. We talk about it, it may change. The food was terrible.
But you had to eat it anyway.
Yeah, like terrible. Terrible.
So you wanted the DB lifestyle at senior high school.
See, that's where you get it wrong. You wouldn't want your child to eat that kind of food. There's nothing like DB. It should be nutritious, even if it's beans and cocoa, or even if it's wache or what. Wache is very nutritious, right? There's beans, there's rice, there are other things. So, but it's just the conditions and the way they prepare it, and
okay.
Truly horrible.
Oh, okay. But did you encounter any, bullying back at school?
Yeah. They bully you so much when you're in like year 2 or year 3. You're in a hurry. You want to also get to year 3 to, try to bully someone. Yeah. So we went through that. I went through that because I was tall. Some of the seniors I was taller than some of the seniors. So when they see, they're like, hey, you just Form 1 girl. You think you're tall, eh? You think. So they would bully you, and I went through all of that, kneeling down, fetching water, going to the well. We had a well. That was our source of water. So Agri Memorial was a nightmare.
Oh, okay. But did you hold any prefectship position? You talking about you loving rap or you being a rapper? Yeah.
I think something happened, but I would have, I don't know, maybe the entertainment prefect, because I was always on stage. When I was in level 100, I was Miss Agri.
Hey.
And after that, I was always on stage rapping and performing. But I feel like that thing that happened made me lose out on being a prefect in school.
Oh, yeah. All right. Kind of student when we are grading, should we put you at the excellent, average, and when it comes to grades? Even though you didn't like the school that much?
I would say I was average. Okay. Average because I personally was not putting in too much work. Yeah, so I'm not just blaming the school, but I will also blame myself. I wasn't studying that much. I was always so concerned about entertainment and what's going to happen on Saturday. So maybe if I had pushed more. But also because I wanted to do a different course, and they gave me business accounting. I wasn't really, interested in all the calculations and all of that. So then I didn't have any, interest? Yeah, interest to study. And at the point where we were writing our SSC, you won't believe it, but I did not go in when we were writing costing and accounts. I just did not go and write it. It was that bad, because I knew what was I going to write? I didn't like it. Our teacher was always beating us up, and I was always skipping classes. So what am I going to write? I cannot balance the sheet. So it was after school. I had to go in and write. Is it NOVDEC?
NOVDEC.
Yeah, so I wrote NOVDEC.
But how did it turn out?
I had to write it twice.
Wow.
Every year was for one subject. I wasn't going to write 5 subjects. So I did not write 2 subjects. So
you had to.
I wrote accounting and I wrote costing. And luckily I came out with good grades and I joined Central University.
So you're raising a very important point, because most times when students go to school, they are being given courses that they are not interested in. So would you advise that particular student to back off and then maybe retry until they get the course that they are interested in?
to back off and retry. How are you going to do that? You know, you're like, you're just the single one who doesn't like the cause they've been assigned to, right? It's so hard to fight the system, because I remember my time, I complained so much. And I was with, I think, 5 other, students, and they eventually were like, okay, well, you know, if you're not going to give us what we want, then yeah, we're okay with the accounting and costing, we'll do it. And I was still the only one who did not want to offer, you know, costing and accounting. And hey, I couldn't fight it. I don't think anyone can.
Okay, but I think, if maybe I'm interested in journalism, I would want to go to a school where I would want to pursue general arts. So if I go and they give me business, if I push through administration and it doesn't work, okay, maybe let me sit down, wait for another year, try other schools. What do you think about that?
How do you wait at home just because
you want your interest? Because as you are putting it, you didn't like it.
Yes.
If you had loved it, maybe things would have turned out differently.
So what I agree, what they did was, it wasn't just because I didn't like it and, you know, I wanted to change it. I went in for, it was a course that had typing, and I've forgotten how they named that course. So I started it.
Oh, okay.
And then they squashed it, they cancelled it, and pushed all of us into the accounting class.
Okay.
So I was already like enrolled and all that. And I feel like even if you're not even doing one course and they squash it and you start doing another course, like, who are you to stop school and sit at home? Will your parents even allow you to do that just because you don't want to do a certain course? I'm sure everybody will just convince you that, oh, you can do it, you can do it. And that's what happened with me. You know, I was coerced, pushed, forced to do accounting, and
okay, but what did you do differently to make the NOVDEC results stand out as compared to your WASI?
Ours was SSC, right?
Oh, okay.
You call it WASI. Yeah, well, just having a private tutor, you know, going for classes. I wasn't just sitting at home.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had one man who was very good. So he took me through gently. He wasn't beating us up in school. I wasn't afraid anymore. So I took my time and I realized that, it's something that I can actually do. There was no fear when I was rewriting.
All right. Yeah. So you speak passionately about kids being beaten up when they go to school. Would you say that encouraging beating or caning at school is wrong?
I honestly feel like no one has the right to touch anyone's kid. You know, we do not do any of that here. If we realize that a kid is being too much or they are misbehaving, we have measures, we have things we do. You can give them timeout. Timeout is, you know, sometimes they just want to walk around, or, you know, maybe even go to the play area. They're going through something, just give them some little space. We counsel, you know, we talk to them. The last resort is basically picking up the phone to call their parent to tell them. Sometimes we feel like when parents talk to their kids, you know, it works well. I would never understand why schools beat up kids.
But the Bible says
no, but that's like for parents. That's for your own child. You can do that at home. You can discipline your child and, you know, let them face the wall and raise their hands and do all of that. But the school has no right. Nobody should do that. Nobody should touch anyone's kid. Yeah, you shouldn't do that. You know, even when the parent tells you that, discipline him, or how are you going to discipline him? What are you going to do to discipline someone's child? You know, who are you to touch anyone's child? No, you leave that to parenting and to what happens at home. But in school, nah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's talk about life after Agri Memorial. You went to Central University. Okay. Yes. Tell us about the experience. I hope you love that school.
Yeah. Central University was a good school. The only wahala was if you're owing, you'll be sacked. You'll be sacked. So there are many times where, you know, you haven't paid your fees and we're writing exams and, Charlie, get out of the class. Yeah, if you're not, you know, you haven't paid your fees in full, they don't allow you to write your exams and all of that. But in all, I feel like, you know, I had a great time at Central. The only thing was I was sitting in the class with my juniors, and that was pretty annoying. It was also tough a bit because I was combining acting with school. That was the time, you know, I shot Princess Tyra. That was the time my career just, you know, shot up there. So yeah, I was doing school and acting.
Okay, so now that you are chipping in acting, tell us at what point did you start?
Yeah, I started acting, I would say right after Miss Ghana. Yvonne Kwashiga, we all know him, right? Ivan was shooting a series called Fortune Island. And some of the Miss Ghana girls went and I believe auditioned or so. I was one of them. And we shot it, but it never came on TV until Abdul Salam's meeting and me shooting Princess Tyra and all of that. So I had already, you know, shot Fortune Island before Princess Tyra, but people do not know that. And that's how the whole acting thing kicked off and started. Yeah, I was in Central, I believe I was in level 200. Yeah, level 200, I think. Yeah. So I would pack my stuff in my car, iron my clothes. I used to costume myself, put my shoes, makeup, everything in my car after lectures. I drive on sets, close at midnight, come back home, sleep, go back to lectures. So that was my life for about 4 years.
Yeah. So when you spoke, you said that you were mixed up with what you really wanted to do. You weren't certain because at a point you wanted to become a flight attendant, a lawyer and all that. So when you got the opportunity to, you know, go into acting, what are some of the things you put into consideration? Because looking at it, you weren't, you know, too sure of what you wanted to do. So why did you accept to, you know, go into the, acting?
Well, because I loved entertainment. You know, I was always on stage back at school, Martin Ipores, Agro Memorial. So when acting presented itself, I saw it as, you know, the same avenue. You know, I have a stage, let me just showcase to the world, you know, what I'm capable of. I wouldn't say I was like the best of actors when I started, but I had people like Frank Raja, Abdul Salam. They believed in me. Salam was like, oh, she can do it, she can do it. There was one time I was filming with Kofi Ajololo, and he got angry that I was forgetting my lines, I wasn't acting well, and he, you know, he stepped out. He was so furious, like, change her, she can't act, she's wasting her time. You know, so I had to learn on the job. I had to believe in myself, and I just realized that this is actually something that I should take seriously. Yeah, and then I started going to Nigeria. The pay was really good compared to Ghana. In Nigeria, we were being paid dollars, of course. It's way bigger. And so the money is obviously going to motivate you to work harder. And then I went into production. I wanted to call the shots. I wanted to make my own movies, tell my own stories. So I started YN Productions, producing my own movies.
Yeah. So tell us about some of the challenges you faced when you began your acting career. I mean, aside Kofi Ajololo talking down on you and all that.
Oh, well, I wouldn't say he spoke down on me, but, you know, it was just frustration. Yeah, he was tired. He was tired of, cut, action. Who is this girl? Challenges when I started. So many challenges. School, combining school with acting. Yes. I would say the biggest was school.
Okay. And then at what point did you decide to go into production, calling the shots?
My production company started around the time of the ban. I was banned by a group of men in the industry. At the time,
to act?
They called themselves FIPAG. Because something happened on set and they all, you know, got together, and I believe in their minds they wanted to intimidate, they wanted to end my dreams, they wanted to teach me a lesson, they wanted to silence me as a young girl in the industry. And so when I saw that happening, I just decided that, hey, you can do your own thing, you can produce your own movies, why don't you try it? So I registered a company around that time and I started producing my movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then when you started, how was the experience? I mean, because you now leaving to start your own production, cost is involved and all that. What are some of the challenges you faced?
I had highs and lows. Some of the highs were I met people, a gentleman named Kelvin Kobri. I believe we all know him. He's into ministry now. So he believed in me, just like Abdul Salam believed in me. He funded my first, 2 to 3 movies. He funded it. So I was lucky to have someone believe in my dreams and fund what I wanted to do. The challenge, I would say, was the first production got stolen whilst editing. So armed robbers entered the editor's studio and stole all his drives. So everything we had shot.
But what are they using the drive for?
Yeah, so it was, I believe it was a sabotage. You know, they knew Yvonne, we ban her. Okay, now what did she say she's doing again? She's producing. Okay, we shall see. So I felt like there was a lot of hate, going on in the industry. And till date, I don't know who did that, but it's obvious. It's pointing at one side, but obviously we don't have names to whoever did it. But I can tell where it was coming from, and we had to reshoot. That means that you're spending the same amount of money to go back on set. So I would say that for me, I've had a taste of, I've been through a lot, as an actor, producer. I've seen the industry. I have tasted the hates, the greatness, the goodness, and it can be a toxic place as well. If you're not strong enough, I don't think you'd last in the entertainment industry.
Next week on the Career Trail.
The school idea came about when I had my daughter. The first day of school, I entered and I heard a baby cry, and oh my God, I wanted to fall on the ground to cry myself. I wanted to join the baby, so we both cried. Other schools are rather looking here because, I am hands-on. Okay. I have the passion. I'm a creative. If you feel like telling my story or hearing my story or reading my story had any negative impact on you, then too bad. How many celebrities would openly talk about an abortion? I don't live with regrets at all.